In the execution of such a plan, nothing is more essential than that permanent, inveterate antipathies against particular nations and passionate attachments to others should be excluded, and that, in place of them, just and amicable feelings towards all should be cultivated. Washington was trying to make a point. As a nation, we should not have strong positions either for or against any nation. This is quite the opposite of America's foreign policy for several generations. Why did Washington think we should stay out of foreign entanglements? The nation which indulges toward another a habitual hatred or a habitual fondness is in some degree a slave. It is a slave to its animosity or to its affections, either of which is sufficient to lead it astray from its duty and its interests. When we make a relationship with another nation, when we tie our futures to theirs for good or for ill, we put them in charge of our foreign policy. Our alliance with Great Britain got us into 2 world wars, and our alliance with Saudi Arabia has frequently put us at odds with other Middle Eastern nations, including until recently having our embassy in Israel in Tel Aviv rather than Jerusalem. In the same way, our fear of the Soviet Union influenced our decisions in Eastern Europe for decades. Our fear of China means we still won't officially recognize Taiwan as its own country. Against the insidious wiles of foreign influence, I conjure you to believe me, fellow citizen, the jealousy of a free people ought to be constantly awake, since history and experience prove that foreign influence is one of the most baneful foes of a Republican government. Excessive partiality for one foreign nation and excessive dislike for another cause those whom they actuate to see dangers only on one side and serve to veil and even second the arts of influence on the other. Real patriots who may resist the intrigues of the favorite are liable to become suspected and odious, while its tools and dupes usurp the applause and confidence of the people to surrender their interest. Compare Washington's urging against foreign influence to today's agenda for the United States as the world's policeman, the nation you go to when you need assistance or protection. So what would Washington have us do? How would he have us deal with other nations? The great rule of conduct for us in regard to foreign nations is in extending our commercial relations, to have with them as little political connection as possible. Put another way, in commerce, friends. Beyond that, we should have as little connection as possible. Think back. How many wars have started because of treaties between nations? Now we have calls for the U.S. to not only send weapons to Ukraine, but put American boots on the ground. Why forego the advantages of so particular a situation? Why quit our own to stand upon foreign ground? Why, by interweaving our destiny with that of any part of Europe, entangle our peace and prosperity in the toils of European ambition, rivalship, interest, humor, or caprice? It is our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world. So far, I mean, as we are now at liberty to do so. For let me not be misunderstood as capable of patronizing infidelity to existing engagements. I hold the maxim no less applicable to public than to private affairs, that honesty is always the best policy. I repeat it, therefore, let those engagements be observed in their genuine sense. But in my opinion, it is unnecessary and would be unwise to extend them. If honesty is the best policy, both in public and private affairs, here's a truth we should all share. My father told me not to co-sign a loan for a friend because your future is tied to them paying the loan. When we link our futures to the affairs of other nations, they are in control, not us. Put another way, we enslave our future to their decisions.